1999, Hong Kong was shocked by a case that later became known as the Hello Kitty murder case. A woman named Fan Man-yi was kidnapped, brutally tortured, and assaulted to death by members of a triad gang. This crime not only took Fan Man-yi's life but also left deep trauma for one of the perpetrators, a girl involved in the incident. The case is called the Hello Kitty murder case because Fan Man-yi was found with only her head inside a Hello Kitty doll. For some reason, Fan Man-yi's life was marked by misfortune. From a young age, she was abandoned by her family and had to live in a women's orphanage. By the age of 15, she had not been adopted, and once she reached that age, she had to live independently outside the orphanage. Before she turned 17, she was already homeless, living on the streets, and was forced into prostitution to get some basic sustenance. No one paid any attention to her plight. At age 21, Fan Man-yi was sold to a brothel by a syndicate, which led her to fall into dangerous drug use. She became an addict and married another addict in 1996. 2 years after their marriage, the couple had a child, and Fan Man-yi gave birth in November 1998. Did the marriage make Fan Man-yi happy? Not at all. Their apartment neighbors described Chi Yuan, Fan Man-yi's husband, as someone who frequently engaged in domestic violence. Their nights were filled with shouting, slapping, painful screams, and the constant crying of their baby. Eventually, Fan Man-yi decided to secure a better future for her child. She left her illegal job, stopped using drugs, and left her husband. She was determined to provide for her child with a better life. Unfortunately, this did not come to pass. Just 5 months after Fan Man-yi's attempt to change her life, she was brutally murdered in 1999. Her head was found in an apartment in Tsim-Sha-Tsui, while the rest of her body was scattered. No one would have known about the incident if a teenage girl who was in the wrong place at the wrong time had not reported it to the police. The girl, Lau Mingfong, also known as Ah Fong, was the girlfriend of one of the perpetrators. She claimed to be terrified because she was haunted by the spirit of Fan Man-yi, which seemed to be seeking justice. The ghost allegedly appeared at her dining table, sat in the back seat of her car, in the bathroom, and even lay beside her while she was sleeping. This occurred day and night, causing Ah Fong to feel as though she was losing her sanity. Initially, the police were skeptical of Ah Fong's testimony, suspecting she might be hallucinating or experiencing a mental health issue. However, Ah Fong persisted and agreed to lead them to the crime scene. The police then discovered Fan Man-yi's head inside a Hello Kitty doll, along with other fragmented remains in a small bag. Faced with this distressing evidence, the police conducted an intensive interrogation of Ah Fong to obtain more detailed information and advance the investigation. With further details provided by Ah Fong, the police located additional fragments of Fan Man-yi's body scattered at different sites, already in a decomposed state, in May of that year. In May of that year, the police raided several locations connected to the suspects and arrested them all. One suspect nearly escaped Hong Kong, but was apprehended with Interpol's assistance. 5 men were detained and interrogated. 2 of them, Ah Sam and Ah Kao, were the apartment owners. They were released after it was confirmed they had merely rented their property to Chan Man Lok, the main suspect. A year later, the trial revealed extensive details about the case, which deeply disturbed journalists and the public. During the trial, attendees reportedly noticed a strong, unpleasant odor in the courtroom. The trouble began when Fan Man-yi was still working at the brothel. Chan Man-lok, a member of a well-known Hong Kong gang, was a regular customer. One day, Fan stole 4,000 Hong Kong dollars from Chan's wallet. After confirming that Fan was the thief, Chan confronted her to demand the return of the money and forced her to pay an additional 10,000 Hong Kong dollars as compensation. Even though the stolen money was returned, Chan insisted that Fan still owed him the extra $10,000 and gave her a deadline to come up with the amount. On March 17, 1999, learning that Fan no longer lived with her husband, Chan and two of his associates went to find her. One of the associates happened to be accompanied by his teenage girlfriend. Chan had prepared everything in advance, including renting an apartment for his brutal plans. According to Chan, he initially intended to sell Fan to other men until her debt was settled. He rented the apartment as a place where Fan would serve clients. However, the judge was not convinced. The apartment seemed to have been rented specifically to confine Fan, as the group was rarely seen staying there during the abuse. For 1 month, Fan was subjected to inhumane treatment and extreme abuse almost daily. What was particularly distressing was that during the abuse, Fan was forced to smile and claim that she was enjoying everything. If she refused or cried, even more severe forms of punishment would follow. When Chan and his associates arrived on April 15th, they found Fan had already passed away. They then tried to cover up their crime by dismembering her body with some parts discarded in the trash. Ultimately, Ah Fong exposed everything. Chan was arrested at an apartment in Shekning while his wife, Ah Pui, had just given birth. Regarding the sentencing, 2 perpetrators, Chan Man-lok and Lung Wai-lun, were given life imprisonment. Another perpetrator, Lung Xing-cho, also received a life sentence but with the possibility of reduction. Ah Fong, on the other hand, was not punished. As a minor, she was granted immunity for her willingness to testify against the perpetrators in court. Later, Lung Xing-cho managed to reduce his sentence to 18 years and was released in 2014 due to remission. However, it appeared that criminal behavior was deeply ingrained in him, as he was arrested again in 2022 for molesting a girl. Why did they receive only life sentences despite their extreme cruelty? Because Hong Kong abolished the death penalty on April 23, 1993. Perpetrators were sentenced, the spirit of Fan Man-yi seems restless. Fan's presence is also frequently reported at the apartment where she died. A woman who recently rented a place near the crime scene often hears the sound of a woman crying at night. She became frightened after discovering that her new home was only a few meters from a terrifying crime scene. The woman decided to move out quickly after experiencing temporary paralysis while lying down. During the paralysis, she witnessed frightening and disturbing visions. A hair salon in the apartment temporarily closed after its staff recorded a headless figure visiting the business at night. Hong Kong metaphysical expert Chen Dingbang reported to the media that while relaxing at a bar across from the crime scene, he saw a headless figure staring at him from one of the units there. Over time, the apartment building where the incident occurred became increasingly vacant. Many units were left empty as tenants gradually moved out, continuously haunted by fear during their stay. In the end, in 2012, the nearly empty apartment building was purchased and demolished. A grand hotel was built on the site and opened in 2016, erasing the dark memories of the past. The hotel, named Soravit, is now a place where guests enjoy their stay, seemingly unaware of the dark history that once haunted the location.